What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense, and nobody wins when the family feuds. Like the video as the intro plays. We got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Big moves. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
You're not talking because you lost all this weight. You kept climbing that mountain.
Because I'm about to pop off.
I don't care if you pop up. When you can't talk about everybody else, can't nobody say anything about you.
No, wait, what happened? What did you say?
I said she lost all that weight because she's been climbing that mountain.
What's the mountain?
Fence.
Toast.
That's still funny. Anyway, so guys, everybody saw this initial clip where Toni looked like she was about to. She pushes a table. She gets in Tamar's face, and it looks like she's about to put hands on her sister. Well, nobody really knew what was going on. To be honest with you, I thought it was just another instance where maybe Tamar had said something that, you know, maybe put her foot in her mouth or disparaged Toni or belittled Toni's, belittled Toni as the entry point to the family's celebrity, kind of like this.
She does know. Because she paves the way for all of us. Well, yes, she does know.
I'm not going to get involved with that. I know my merit, I know my worth, and I'm not going to have an argument with my baby sister about my years in the business and how my contribution.
Nobody paved the way for
Yes,
me.
she did.
Jesus paved the way for me.
Tamar, yes, you did.
Jesus has
Yes,
paved
oh
the
my
way
God.
for me.
Toni, yes, you did.
Jesus has paved the way for me. I'm so
And God-
sorry about that.
Guess what? Jesus paved the way for all of us. Don't be sorry for what
Okay,
Jesus
well,
did.
I'm just
but
saying.
yes, she did.
How dare you say that Toni didn't pave the way? How dare you say that?
Don't do that.
Okay, so guys, this is my second video. Apparently, WeTV has copyrighted their initial video, so I'm gonna just be letting you guys hear what was said and showing you like photos. But again, this is my second video, so please like the video. If you are new to the channel, subscribe. We have a good time over here. But let's get right into it. I think we'll just start here. We'll leave this one up.
Fortunate events in the Braxton family lately.
What we were told is you didn't want to film with us.
Well, you already know why I want to film with y'all.
Wait a minute, hold on.
My niece Ashley, who we love very much, posted her videos on social media with some accusations about her family. My family was a little surprised.
Well, there was a lot going on the internet.
Tamar announced that she would be interviewing our niece Ashley on Tamar's podcast. I didn't think it was a good idea.
I am getting Ashley here. You're not going to make me feel bad about that. I wanted her to come to a safe place to tell her story.
And all of this happened right before we started shooting season 2 of The Braxtons.
Next thing I know, y'all tried to shut down my entire
Y'all, don't
business.
say y'all.
Sending a cease and desist and shutting down my business. Exhibit B, the cease and desist. I got a cease and desist before Ashley was on my podcast. I didn't even say anything. I was not involved in any way, shape, or form of sending a cease and desist letter. My name was nowhere on it.
Now, I can appreciate Trina not being a part of the cease and desist. Let's start here. Tamar is not wrong for giving a platform to somebody who is alleging some type of abuse. And Tamar being the person who feels like she's been, you know, she's the downtrodden one. She's the one that doesn't fit in. She's the one that's ganged up on. I can understand her giving a voice to her niece. I want to know who sent the cease and desist. So Toni at this point is stewing. Toni is old school. Toni is a person who has clearly had media training and who doesn't like to break with. Toni is very measured in her approach to this show because she has media training and she has to work after the show. And she understands that the show is, she has a certain role to play on the show. knowing now that the niece was the catalyst for her wanting to put hands on Tamar changes everything. Shout out to Trina for not trying to silence the niece, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but let's continue.
Nobody wanted to come to my defense.
So you gonna sit there and say, Toni Braxton?
Toni Braxton, I got you on
Toni
the phone.
Braxton? No, Toni Braxton ain't never had your back.
I got Toni Braxton.
I want to be coming on
No,
record.
I want to be.
You want to say I don't have your back?
You didn't have my back when it.
With heavyweight, don't put me, Tamar. Don't with Toni Braxton.
And then when Toni said we need to have her on the show,
I told you we need to have Ashley on the show. I never say that.
Yes,
I never said that. She's lying.
what's wrong with my mother? That's why your mother.
I said just show us the Chiglin circuit, and we shouldn't do it. You
No, that should not be as funny as it is. It is. You are now seeing the real Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is a superstar, and to her, Tamar being on the internet doing a talk show is the Chitlin circuit, but that really wasn't even what Tamar was talking about. Tamar was actually talking about the Braxtons show. That's what Tamar was talking about. So Toni just read her for that for no reason. But that's at this point, you now know that Toni is not even really listening to what Tamar is saying. Toni does not want to be involved in the conversation to get Ashley on the show. You could see Trina's face was like, Toni did what? Now, she may not have sent a cease and desist, but now Toni is, if Tamar is telling the truth, Toni is airing her out in a way that she won't be able to necessarily recover from because, well, it sounds like allegedly her ex-husband, who is no longer with us, was sexting her niece. And she did not, if what Ashley alleges is true, and she cut her off and tried to fault the 16-year-old, then that's not a good look, and that's not something you can necessarily recover from. And I know people who know her, and everybody says she's very nice and very sweet, and I believe that. And maybe there's a human element that I'm not, aware of because I'm not in a situation where there were allegations of sexting between my ex and a child that was in my care. I don't know. I don't have a point of reference to that. I can only say that I would not feel comfortable blaming the child, but you never know. People are real. And the longer that I do this and the more that I talk to different types of people, there's human elements that I don't think that sometimes bloggers give humans grace for. I wouldn't behave in that way. And I feel like it's wrong, but I don't know what I would do in that situation. And we haven't even technically heard her side of it. So, but let's continue on, because now we know that this made Toni Braxton mad enough to really go after Tamar in a way that we have never seen before. But I haven't heard the Baltimore will come on out of Toni. She just doesn't show it on camera.
They have her on the Braxton show. You said that.
This is not the forum.
You said that.
Don't you go there.
Don't you? Hold it. No.
So who and what do y'all believe? Do you believe that Toni was fine with the niece coming onto the show and airing out Trina and Gabe? Or do you believe, Toni, that Tamar just made it up? And I give Tamar a hard time all the time. It's very easy to give Tamar a hard time. She,
Do you want to do this?
Do you?
She's animated, she's extra, she's all of those things. But in this situation, let me give you guys an example. This family does well because they actually do have real life issues. We had everybody's favorite Tracy passing away. We've had infidelity with Trina and Gabe. We've had Toni going through major health crises. We've had, siblings versus the star syndrome. We've tackled a lot, but typically the sisters don't really tackle things that could really, really hurt their public persona. They will air out other things, like Mama Evelyn airing out the fact that Tamar's ex-husband, who I so respectfully call Turkey Leg because he bit Tamar, had been physical with her and verbally abusive and had done things behind the scenes in the show so that stuff would not air. So Let's get into what Ashley said real quick.
Extremely happy right now. So give me a second, bear with me, but I'm going to tell it as best I can, okay? So I'm 16. I'm at my aunt's house, and when I leave, I'm there for the summer. Her partner decides, her husband at the time decides to start sexting me. So sexting in a sexual manner, okay? There was nothing physical that happened, absolutely nothing physical. However, when my parents first brought it up to my aunt, she was there for me, very like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And as the years have evolved, that has turned into, it's your fault. It's turned into, you were old enough to know right from wrong. And it's turned into something physical happened and you did it. And for me, that's mind-boggling to me, because if there was something that was physical that happened, and I'm 16 years old, this makes this person right. You know the word and I can't use it. And so that is mind-boggling. It's just something that I don't.
So that is deeply personal. And apparently telling her story was not something that Toni wanted out. Even if you go back to the comment or the argument that Toni and Tamar were having, Toni was upset that Tamar said anything, but in reality, she said a lot. By just saying, you said she wanted on the show, and Toni acknowledging that she said your show was a Chitlin circuit means that behind the scenes, Toni was involved in that conversation. Literally, Tamar won, but this is so deeply personal to this young lady that I don't think she should be silenced. I really don't. I feel bad for Trina that this happened to you in such a public way. In fact, BFE fans actually found the episode where the conversation aired online.
Trina, I've made many bad choices in our marriage. You know, being physically unfaithful, sexting, cyber texting, or cyber cheating, you know. I know it's also hurt the family as well.
I do think Gabe's apology was sincere. I think he meant it with everything inside of him. I also think he regretted getting caught. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
I do want you to know, Trina, and the family, that I've made a conscious decision to change the way I've been living. And I've decided to seek out counseling, and he referred me to a section.
So this adds a whole nother element to the story, because not only was the niece having to deal with this, and apparently the fallout from her aunt, who no longer wanted to be around her, allegedly, she's seeing the person on television be able to make amends with the family while she's vilified. I say all that to say it's not going to be a good look if this girl ever does make it to the show. And so they did not want her on the show. Tamar, being the self-proclaimed black sheep, was going to have her on the show. Toni apparently had conversations with her about getting her on the show, whether she agreed or disagreed. She was involved in those conversations. And that was enough to make her want to put hands on her sister. The mystery was solved. It wasn't something simple. It was something deeply personal. I don't even know at this point. I think Ashley's story is out there. I think that she's part of the family and she deserves to have her say, the same way that Gabe allegedly was allowed to have his say. You guys can put in the comments, who do you believe? Do you believe Tamar or Toni? I'm never thought I would say this, but I'm definitely believing Tamar. I believe that Toni had conversations, and that's why Toni was so upset. But if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are not new to the channel, hit that like button, and I'm going to see you guys later.